Now that Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters, a lot of fans have been very curious and intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie was a foundation to create new Star Wars lore by, of course, director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, who was the co-writer of the movie. And not just that, we also know that Episode 9 was also an attempt in order to fix elements of The Last Jedi. Now, though a lot of fans were still not pleased with Episode 9, it was still a divisive movie, not quite as divisive as The Last Jedi was, that's a given fact. But when we look at everything related to how Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to treat the future of the Star Wars franchise, you can really see that they are having a lot of big plans currently in place that are being developed as we speak, both for Disney Plus and for the new Star Wars movies, I mean, you name it. Now, when we look at the Star Wars community, ever since the release of The Last Jedi, there's no doubt about it, but we do know that that created a great divide between the Star Wars fans around the world, based on what happened from Rian Johnson's portrayal of the character of Luke Skywalker, and exactly how it really affected some of the Star Wars lore as well in that movie in and on itself, essentially. Now, when we look to the future here of what they're actually going to develop with their new Star Wars universe, obviously Lucasfilm and Disney are very ambitious of what they are trying to do. Even Bob Iger said a couple of weeks ago that they are now just figuring out exactly what they can really do with the Star Wars franchise and, you know, what they really have in store for the fans. Now, with that being said, what's rather intriguing is that now that The Rise of Skywalker is out in theaters around the world and is getting ready to make its way over to Blu-ray, both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on reshaping the franchise and that they are looking for ways to evolve the Star Wars franchise into something very satisfying for fans. One of the big plans that both Disney and Lucasfilm have in store is to repay the fans for those disappointed with the sequel trilogy films, and that their first step to doing this is to bring back many of the fan favorite characters in the form of both live action and animated material, as well as a current project that is in development to bring back Ben Solo into the Star Wars universe. It's also noted that they are working on a canon piece that will restart The Last Jedi and how fans view the film as part of their new expanded universe, and exactly how that will also lead to them changing the entire sequel trilogy with brand new canon material and lore for fans to explore. Additionally, it's noted that Disney and Lucasfilm will be fixing the character of Luke Skywalker in various ways, both in live action, animated, and in the form of books and novels to come in the near future. This is their way to repay the fans of those who had many issues with the handling of the franchise, and that they are trying their best to regain the lost fans of the franchise since The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson, and that as part of this, they will also only be using experienced writers for their new future Star Wars movies as well. Not just that, but Disney will be bringing back the character of Darth Vader in multiple ways in the near future to also repay the fans further, and that this is their attempt to gain the trust of the Star Wars community. And not just that, but by also restarting elements of the sequel trilogy era in new canon material to come in the coming years. So what's really interesting about this is that this shows us, without a doubt, that Disney and Lucasfilm are very desperate at this point in time. I have a feeling that this is not genuine per se. I feel like that this is their way to really save, you know, their own part on Star Wars, to really save their own franchise that they are now pretty much trying to expand and evolve with this new EU, you know, moving on forward. Obviously, you know, they see what happened with The Last Jedi and the backlash that came with it, how it really affected Solo, and how that in turn led to a cancellation of 10 years worth of Star Wars movies. I don't know if you guys knew, but originally they were supposed to have one Star Wars movie every single year for more than 10 years straight on, and that was completely put to the wayside, where they are now only focusing on 3 new Star Wars movies as of right now at least, and a handful of spin-off movies and live-action TV series to come in the near future as well. So, with that being said, obviously they can tell that the divide between the Star Wars community really is a problem, and how it really affected the box office results of The Rise of Skywalker. We can see that it's really trying, it's inching toward 1.3 billion, but I really don't think it's going to make it to that, because The Last Jedi made 1.3 billion. It seems like that The Rise of Skywalker will be the lowest earned Star Wars movie of the sequel trilogy era by Disney. There's no doubt about that. It seems like it's moving in that direction. So, obviously, them saving the character of Luke, fixing the character in new live-action and animated material to come on Disney+, and as well as bringing back the character of Darth Vader is actually said to be their way of repaying the fans, as well as, of course, fixing elements of the sequel trilogy and restarting elements of The Last Jedi in their new canon material. So, what do I think about all of this? Well, I think that a lot of fans out there are either going to accept this or really not even accept this at all. In fact, I think a lot of fans out there may not even accept this as a real apology or as a real way to really regain the trust of the fans. Again, it seems like a desperate attempt, not very much genuine, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how it will be handled and exactly how much of an impact it will have on those fans that are very much unhappy with Star Wars as we speak. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to